Hello. It is time. All right. What exactly did I leave out? Leave off with? I think this button does nothing. No, it does. I don't know. Did I get this FOV thing working? I did, right? Oh. No, I must not have. I think what I need here is a get and a set map, probably. Hey, Denelin. I don't think I can use one map for both. Or one function for both. I probably shouldn't. So yeah, I guess I need to do that. So I will. What would I do? Right. So if I do, when I say, all right, give me the FOV, I'm gonna say, okay, well, I'm going to read if we have an FOV cosine half. That's literally what I want to say. Why is get name highlighted? I hate names. What is this? All right, there's my idea. Check the vid I sent. I meant to make a cute state machine for my flying enemy. Sure. Why? Can I do this? I will figure out how to show that for stream later. I think I'll just have to download it, I guess. I don't want to put Discord on the screen. Right, that's my idea. The get. For the set, for the set, map override. Would be like, he doesn't know how to open in browser, just download the file. Well, you saw what it just told me. It just said, do you want to save or do you want to open with MPV player, whatever it just said. I'll just do it later. Okay. What am I trying to figure out here? I guess what I really want is not, I guess not just the get, but like, let me do it. Let me do it like this. If we have an override the property, then get override the property. But here's the issue. Then I get to base properties. Oh, why is this so weird? What? Something's just strange here. What's not normal? What's not normal? I think the non-normal thing is this. First of all, it's the fact that I have this like extract what is it? This thing. This is like the first part where it's strange. I'm manipulating a value that is not the final value. And preferably, I wouldn't do any of this like map override stuff. So I'm going to start by pulling all that out. I don't want that. Just don't do this. Okay. Just get rid of this. All right. What should happen? I think all you really have to do is say that just have one place as a hey, when I set this value, set this value. When I get this value, get this value. That's what I really want to do. When I set up a V, I want to set this one. Kind of the issue is this set stuff happens in an order that doesn't really work. Because what happens is essentially it's going to run through my setter first. When I call get FOV. Wow. When I call get FOV, the first thing that's going to happen is going to go right in here. It's going to do this first. It's going to say, all right, do we have FOV? That's what it's going to do. When it returns false, that's when it comes down here and runs this method. Is that right? Yeah. Bear's being annoying. It keeps like curling up on it like this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Also, I'm on like 5 hours of sleep. I was up really late last night. I wasn't even trying. I was writing. And I was like, oh, it's 9 o'clock, alright. And then next time I look at the time, it's 1 a.m. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? Alright, let me just finish this paragraph. And then it was 2 a.m. I don't understand. This game did 5 hours of sleep, was 5 hours more than enough. Honestly, man, I think I need like 12 to be functional. For a full day. Somehow. I used to be like, go to bed at 9, wake up at 5. 5 a.m. And I would go through the whole day like that. And now it's like, I need to sleep like 10 hours to not feel tired. And then I also probably need to like take a nap in the middle of the day. Like an extra 2 hours. Something's wrong, I don't know. Something really changed. I don't think I'm gonna be able to figure this out, honestly. Maybe I say... Oh, man. What is this? That was like a test. I mean, in theory, I can take off this +1 and use and write get and set here. I don't like that though. I don't want to do that. How'd this dog get out of my room? I swear I brought him in here, and now he's not in here. Yeah, this is bad. I'm at like 20% or something right now. See, new Steam machine is going to... What? The sex box and the gay station 5. They're already dead. It's okay. It's not just a map. Honestly, what the real problem here is that just writing FOV cosine half isn't triggering the set or the get. It's not triggering that. Does it need to trigger this? Honestly, I could make it trigger it. Like, I really could just write... I really don't want to do that. But that might just be the simplest way to do it. The Gabe cube. Yeah. All right. I think I give him. I think I need to give in to this. Just do it. All right, what happens? Extended resource, set, setting override, get. Oh, yeah. All right, click, drag. Why don't I see FOV cosine half? What? Close anyway. Guess I need to restart that. Did this not work last time? This should work. I actually don't want to do that one. No, don't delete it. Oh my gosh. Close. I'm fried. Override this. Why are we setting override for FOV? That's not a thing. We're not setting an override for FOV. Get rid of that. How is running the set and get here not doing this? Get absolutely should be running through here. But the set should be running through here. I should be seeing this. I'm just gonna reload it just in case. Won't save. Okay, how did it load that? I don't know. Click. Nice. Set FOV cosine half. But now the get FOV isn't working? Get FOV cosine half. It goes through here and says we have an override for that, and it should get the override. That's what's happening. What? Yeah, why is it doing get? Oh, because... Is it in the list of overrides? It is. So... That's a mistake. It's not supposed to be there. Just don't save. Okay. Alright, what do I see? Turn this on. It says get base, get FOV cosine half, set FOV cosine half, setting override, get FOV cosine half. Get FOV cosine half. Save. Alright. That's working. Oh, but then, okay, that's where it goes wrong. This switch doesn't think it's an override. Because it doesn't see FOV cosine half. It looks for FOV. How does the UI work there? It checks if it's an override by doing this. So I guess what it should do is instead just say has override. Okay. And then I guess in vision settings, could I just override has override and say if I'm asking for FOV, I map that myself? That seems dumb, but I guess I have to have it somewhere. Because what do I do here? I have the override. I can't get. As override. Yeah, anywhere that I'm accessing that directly. Whoops. Oh, okay. There's literally nowhere. Cool. Although it should probably say like... Yeah, so this will become a problem here. So this should also say has override. Then it should probably be get override. All right. Cool. All right. So now what I can do is I can actually just say that. Oh no, this is where it goes. This is where it goes wrong though. That's not how this one works. Bro, I hate it. I hate it. This is really bad. This is really stupid. Because when I say get override, why is this return bool? It doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Your opinion on Power Rangers Time Force now? I don't watch Power Rangers. Dude, can someone just figure this out for me? I don't want to. This is so bad. Truly sad. Yeah. Dude, ChatGPT is not going to tell me anything. And I need to focus on the problems, right? The problem is that when I say what I do right now can't properly pull that this is an override. That's the problem. It doesn't properly pull that this is an override. You'll never know if you don't try. I have tried. It doesn't... It's not useful. For anything more than, like, hey, here's something that I want to learn about. Can you just, like, give me words that I can Google search? Like, that's as good as it gets. It's dumb. This is all dumb. This is, I really don't like any of this. Just don't, I don't want to do that. Too many parentheses. Okay. Let me solve first issue. Alright, this is probably fine. Leave it like that. You're gonna put your stuff into PCK files. Okay. I don't know what that means. The first issue. The slider is working with a value that is not the value stored. That's okay, that's the real issue, right? The slider is working with a value that is not stored. Do I need to give the slider extra function? Does it need to say, okay, when I set this, I also want to set this. Actually, I think here's the real problem. The get and the set for the f of e cosine half don't happen because I access them directly. Okay. I can write get and set here, but I don't want to do that. I could write a function that takes in the string f of e and returns the string f of e half. I don't like that. I would like this to work. I would like this to work. I would like that to work. I would like it to work as I have it written right now. How can I do that? I'm not gonna make it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want strings. I don't want mappings. I don't want to write gets. I don't want to override methods. This could be a compile thing. It could be. But how can I don't know if it works that way. Where writing the name can at the very least, if I write the name, these getters and setters have to run. That still doesn't guarantee the get and the set here would run. I mean, literally, I'm gonna make that work. I'm just gonna make that work. I'm gonna make it work that way. Where the custom get and the custom set run for this. However, I need to consider what happens here. As override, what happens? I can't do that. Because if I were to make the words run the get and the set, doing this would instantly cause infinite recursion. Because we would just keep saying, oh, we need to get resource path, run get. Oh, we need to get resource path, run get. Oh, we need to get resource path, run get. Or I guess it would even stop unloading. I can't do that. If I override has override, if whatever. It's not going to work that way. I need the UI to specifically have... Does the UI need some special method? It needs its own method? Then if it has its own method, then I have to go in here and I have to implement that method. I don't want that. Can it somehow know that FOV and FOV cosine half are connected? It could have a method with strings. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Okay. You know what I could do? I could just say FOV is the exported value and FOV cosine half is set when it loads. that solves the thing, right? That makes it work. I just don't like that idea of having to compute it every time I load the file. I just want to read it. Huh. Fine. It's happening like this. And I'm gonna get rid of this thing. Just that. So this is a cache. Huh. Basically, I'm gonna move these down here. In fact, I'm just gonna inline them. Well, move these back up here. I think it's really just gonna be the set FOV thing. So when I set the FOV, do that, and then do this. So now the setter is always going to run like so. How do I convert this? This needs to, I guess I would write 100 here. And write FOV. So now it'll map out. Okay. Delete that. Okay. All right. FOV. Override that. Okay. I just toggled it and click save. There we go. FOV is 100. Now I want to make it 180. Save. I mean, I know that this works, right? That's literally just how that works. The real issue is when I load, I need the FOV cosine half to be the correct value immediately. I make a new resource, it's the correct value. I set the value, I will also know it'll be the right value after I call set. Let me even just do that. Setter for FOV. and reload, so that file goes away and comes back. Setter for f of e. Nice. That's what I wanted to see. So what if it's default? What if it's 100? Also, why is setter for f of e not happening? What? Oh no. What am I doing? Is this supposed to return true? Is this supposed to return false? Oh, this is so dumb. The setter for the FOV isn't happening. So I'm not getting this cosine half thing. I'm gonna blow up. How can I make the setter run? Why does everything suck? Why does everything just suck? I would not be having this problem if I could just write this in C++. I literally wouldn't. This wouldn't be a problem. Maybe that is what I need to do. I need to go and put this into C++. unironically would solve my problems. But I don't want to do that. I want to make it work here, where it's like I can change a number, I can change that and hit save and hit run, and it does it. You know, I don't want to do like a small change and have to do a recompile and all that stuff. Oh, recompile. I need to increase the day number. Let's go from 0 to 1. Huh. Here's the thing. This FOV cosine half, I want to do this because this is the math that I have to do. When I'm this shouldn't even have an export. Why does this have an export? There should be no export on that. I could make FOV cosine half be a getter that works on a cache value. It checks the previous FOV value, and then if it has it, it computes it. If it doesn't, if it has it, it returns it. If it doesn't, then it computes it. I could just do that. Maybe that really just solves all my problems. Just rethinking how I do this entirely. Though I hate this. I do hate this. I hate it so much, actually. I hate it so much. Because I need 3 variables. Whatever. Whatever. Well, what even is this? It's the cosine of the half angle. And that's what I do. There is no set. I make it a value that I know it could ever be. I mean, even 0 works. Even 0 works. When I get FOV cosine half, I check if last FOV is the same as FOV. If they are not the same, I recompute it, and then I return it. Does this solve all of my problems? I mean, that does. I know that does. I know that does. Damn. Oh. I mean, I guess, like, ideally this is perfect, right? Because I can set FOV as many times as I want. I don't run into calculations until I retrieve FOV cosine half. But I do pay for this check. This is what I pay for. And the extra memory. I could make it a little bit better, I guess. I could, instead of tracking a float here, I can track. That just goes back to normal. Well, not entirely. I could do this. Maybe this is a little bit better. I'll force it to compute it. If I were to write it in C, this is how I would write it. The setter saves a Boolean as true. The getter here checks the Boolean. If the Boolean is true, I recompute it. I clear the Boolean, and then I return the value. That's how I would do this in C. That gets me what I want. I want to not have this cosine. I want to have access to this cosine half value. I want to compute it once per retrieval and delay its computation until I need it. And make it so that when I change the FOV, that would happen. I should show how to close user real man. Yeah. Okay. Days. Genuine days. I'll leave that. And right now it says, yeah, 132. Cool. I'm cooked. I'm so cooked. I'll comment that back out. Oh, and then the extend stuff. What is that? Is this Control O? Nice. What? Air loading resource empty. Well, I can't have that. Um, the way that I load, what is this? Section editor current. Everywhere that I load, I need to make sure that has are an empty. Yeah, okay. If I can't do that, hit escape and then like just do something dumb. Oh yeah, if I cancel that dialogue. The path would be empty. That's not good. I can't do that. Let's look at all the save. Takeover path. Maybe just say return. That's not the only spot, right? Where else do I take over path? Here. Just to return there is probably fine. Do I have any dot loads? Path is empty, good. Okay. Looks like I got it all. Alright. Add open and extend button to editor. Fix FOV. Yeah, just fix FOV. Change how FOV is stored. Revision settings. So that it works with the editor. And resource overrides. Handle empty paths when canceling file dialogues. It's kind of it, right? I was so close to just actually stopping for the day after like an hour. I was so close. Oh man. Like I already feel like how I would normally feel at like 5 or 6 hours into the stream. I already feel that way. That was just a dumb thing. That was just... That everything was dumb. I feel stupid for how long it took me to get something to work. And this is definitely the right solution. I don't have to do any special functions. I basically just added this variable. And I changed it from saving FOV cosine half to saving FOV. Okay, what now? I guess I get to test this one out. Extend. Extended mind. Let me make this be gunshot. And this be 10. There we go. And awesome. I click back and it looks like nothing changes. So that was kind of handled correctly. But what's really supposed to happen here is these are kind of locked. These should be locked. And I would have a switch here that I toggle that says, okay, I want to change this. And essentially the default behavior should be, I guess it would be like pressing extend here. Clicking the switch would be like pressing extend here. And it asks me, hey, do you want to... No. What did I say it should do? It doesn't go through the resources. It just says... It treats it like it's a pure property. Like essentially it's a resource path and it says, hey, do you want to override this? Okay, you do. Pick a new resource. And that's what you do. if you want to make them based, if you want to like keep, you know, extension kind of hierarchy going, you would do it where you save zombie base vision and you would create an extension of zombie base vision. And you just say, all right, test mind is base vision, extended mind is extended base vision, right? That's what you would say. So essentially, drop all these buttons on this side, and there'd just be a toggle here. And clicking the toggle, maybe I don't really have buttons for the resource, or I don't have a switch for it like I have these ones. Those are pretty simple. Maybe instead I have a button over here that says override. So I click the button, and it's basically just extend. I mean, I think it really just kind of says, we'll save this resource now as an external resource or use it as a sub-resource. Because what I would prefer to happen is when I click that button, I get these values. I get these, and then I can modify them. But I get a whole new resource. I get a whole new resource that's a copy of this one. It's basically like, all right, do you want to use a sub-resource? And I guess it matters if the base one is a sub-resource. If the base one is a sub-resource, it just copies the values, and it won't extend it. So I'll just say override. Maybe that's what I have. If the base value is not a sub-resource, I have like an extend button. Or I just show the extend button. And I would lock the UI until I do that. If it's a sub-resource, I would have something like override, where it just copies it. And then I guess I do the same thing again. Maybe I guess it would just be the same prompt, just the text would change. So I would have an extend button or an override button. Let me make it say that. I should be able to close these at this point. Yeah, I shouldn't have to do anything else, I think, with this stuff. This should all be set up. I should really just have to manipulate this container. Manipulate. How do I know that I'm an override? What do I get? I should have like, yeah, I have main resource and property name, so I can check if I'm an override. Or whatever. is override. Wait. I can do this actually. If we have a base, then... Well, if we have a base and... No, if we have a base. This is all else. And I'll just reuse this extend button. So I can kind of keep it the same, because it should just probably run on extend. I think the logic there is identical. Main resource base. Alright, I'm gonna open the other one because I'm blasted. What does this do? If main resource and main resource base. Oh, do I have this tooltip for these? I do. Wait, I do? What does that tooltip come from? Is it set up here? Huh? Oh, there it is. Do the spaces. Oh, cool bug. Main resource base has override. And then I change something. I guess just shred it all like that. If main resource and that. We have the override. If we have an override, I would like to display something. Override button. Button override. I think what I really want to do is just have that extend button, then kind of change the text of it to be override or extend. And I want to disable all the controls. That's a thing that I really want to do. I want to disable the controls. Does the resource editor get like disable method? I don't have a disable method. Do they have like code for that? No. No. What's the issue here? No issue. Okay. What do I want it to look like? Oh my gosh, I'm so fried. This is stupid. That's not what I'm trying to open. Oh yeah, pretty cool. Okay. Um. Oh my gosh, give me 1 second. My hair is annoying me. I'm back. And blurry, apparently. Camera does not care. I made it worse? Okay. Finally. What do I want it to look like? I really don't know. I think the toggles probably make more sense because that's where you're going to see the most often. It'll be pretty clear. So I guess what I do... Oh, wait. Wait. How does the toggle work for the property editor? When I click that button, what happens? If editor set override enabled. Set override. Override cache, right? So it should be the same thing. Set override cache. Update override. What I want to happen? Oh my god! I really need to know like what happened. What is here? What's here? Icon gone. The expand icon is gone. Okay, let me start with that. The expandable is not expandable. Where do I hide the icon? What? What? Oh, it's already hidden. Right. That's already how that works. Well, if override. What? What? Alright, I guess I start with it being false, right? So I start with the interaction being false. Allow interaction as false. No interaction, no icon. Not expanded. Okay. And then when we update, I can turn all that on. So if we override, turn it on. Otherwise, I do all this. Set resource and property, I guess. When I... What? Huh? I want to turn them on, but then expanded is like gonna keep expanding it. When does update title bar get called? Because maybe that's not so bad. When we save, we update. Yeah, so can't. Immediately can't do that. Because I do it when I save. You know what? Let me just say it. If I'm updating the title bar, I'm going to treat it like it's the first time I'm running. Then I need like to fully reset the state of this title bar, right? So here's what I say. If we have allow interaction will be the same as is override. Well, okay. What? Oh my gosh. What do I want the initial state to be? What do I want the initial state to be? I want it to be collapsed. I want it to be no icon, non-interactable. Okay? I have it. Done. Boom. Initial state done. Now, when I load in a resource, if it's not, if there's no base resource, okay, here's kind of the real thing. It's kind of the real thing. I guess I really want to say this. When we... No. What? 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 Dude, I need sleep. Man, I suck at this. Alright, I gotta stop myself. Like, literally every time I close my eyes like that, I feel like I'm about to fall. I am literally falling asleep. And I have to open my eyes. So, I'm just gonna stop. I stayed up too late. I got up early. I can't do this. Goodbye.